Hey guys, Manuel here from importdojo.com. I've been asked about global sources a lot recently, what they do, who they are, and if they are better than Alibaba. Now I'm going to answer all of these questions today and decided to do a screencast through their website and service and guide you through it. Maybe a bit of background information first. Um, Global Sources has actually been around a lot longer than Alibaba. They just didn't get the exposure as Alibaba did. They were actually established in 1970 in Hong Kong, and you can check out the history here under the About Us section. They were back then called Asian Sources, and they started out with magazines that are now available as e-magazines, but I will look into that in a little bit. The website itself has also been around longer than Alibaba, as they have been online since 1996. So basically put, they do offer everything else that Alibaba offers as their main service, but they have tons of other value, which we're going to look at now. So you have the main search function here, just like on Alibaba. You can look for products, suppliers, and on top of that you can also look for news. So example, you want to hear the newest story about some consumer electronic, then you just type in here, for example, iPad pen, and then you go on news and click search. You can give that a try. So if you know, for example, you can look for products, we do that in a little bit, but for example, if you know the supplier's name, you can also input the search term here. For example, if I want to look for a specific supplier, let's say myself even, because I'm also on GlobalSources, I'm just gonna type in here my company name, and the autofill immediately shows me the company. And I'm gonna click on it and search, and there we go. You have Mandarin Gear Limited. I've registered since 1 year with GlobalSources, and the really cool thing about GlobalSources is their verification process. Now you see here that I'm a verified supplier. I have actually gone through 3 steps of their verification process, visits and calls, financial checks, and more. Now I can tell you from my own experience that they're a lot stricter with verifying suppliers than on Alibaba. For example, when I applied to be listed here, I was called various times, and I even had a representative of GlobalSources come to my office to basically double or triple confirm everything that I've sent them. So their selection process of suppliers is very safe and thorough. What's more, they have actually did a business registration check. Now you can click on learn more here and you see what they do to check the company. So they visited me, they called me a couple of times, they checked some documents, and then I had to even provide them my business registration. So they do a business license check. Now if that is not okay, you won't get listed on here. Now another cool gimmick is here that they have a button right here that says trade show, and it shows you where the supplier has exhibited or where he will exhibit. Now for example, you see I will be exhibiting at the Consumer Electronics Show in Hong Kong from October 11 to 14, and you actually have my booth number here. So if you're planning on going to the exhibition, you can look through the suppliers here and mark down the booth numbers and make a schedule for yourself on that day. Now if you click view all, you also see where I exhibited already. Now you see I exhibited at the Asia World Expo here in Hong Kong from the 11th April to 14th of April this year. Now I'll explain a little bit about their exhibitions in a little bit. This is actually a very useful tool for you as a buyer, because you will see that these companies listed here have a history of publicly exhibiting their company. That is a good sign, because if they would be scammers, they wouldn't exhibit anywhere. Now that filters out a lot of scammers for you already. I've also spoken recently to Mr. Peter Zapf, who is the Chief Information Officer at GlobalSources, and he mentioned that through this verification process they have here, they get a lot less complaints from their buyers than Alibaba does with the Gold membership, for example. Because the Gold membership, let's be honest, can simply be purchased. Now, of course, the Gold membership will not be renewed for many years if the supplier is scamming people, but Basically, on Alibaba, you can just buy the membership, and there's not much of a verification process unless they really go through the whole verification. Now let's take a look at another supplier here. I'm going to go back to the main page, and I want to look for a product. Let's go for the famous garlic press. I'll just put in garlic press. Here's the autofill, and I'll search for that. And yeah, voila, we have the garlic press results here. Now, for example, when you look at this second supplier here, I'm going to take this as an example because there's a lot here to learn. You'll see some more important information here that will really influence your buying decision and will make you feel safe working on GlobalSources. So you have the verified supplier logo that I already explained in earlier. Then you have a credit check, which is really important from my point of view. The supplier's financials have actually been checked and verified by a third party. This third party was Experian. I don't know them directly, but I'm assuming they're reputable because they work with GlobalSources. And this is pretty important because you don't want to work with a supplier that is maybe in financial troubles when you place an order. Then here you have the trade show logo, which I covered earlier, and then you see a logo of the e-magazine advertisements. The e-magazines are one of the most important functions on GlobalSources, and I'll get into that in a little bit. And also, this is a super cool function here. When you hover over major customers, you'll see the supplier's major customers. This is a massive impact on your buying decision. And why? Because I can see who this supplier works for already, and that is good because that tells me if he understands the countries or the customer-specific product requirements, that is good for me. Because, for example, now let's say I want to sell my product in the US. That means I'm going to look at a supplier who works with American customers already because he understands their requirement. Now in this case, you'll see that they already work with major US clients like Dollar Tree or Home Helper and others. Now, that's really good stuff. Now let's say I want to inquire with this supplier. So I go through my usual checks. I'm going to click on the supplier, and I'll get to their site. Let's pick a it's actually not really a garlic press here. They have a lot of household products, but you can see it's mainly household appliances, especially for food processing. Now you can see a lot of information here, and let's take a look at a specific product. Let's go back there one moment. This seems to be a different garlic press, but let's just have a look anyway. Now you see already here they mention what kind of certificates they have, which is really good because I know that this has also been verified by GlobalSources already, otherwise they can't put it there. Now what you see here, for example, is the LFGB certificate, which is the equivalent to the American FDA certificate, but even at a higher standard. So that is a very good sign. So any product that comes in touch with food or drugs has to have this approval from a third-party laboratory. And then they also have ROSE certificate, which stands for restriction of hazardous substances, which is also a very good sign that this supplier has this. Now, they mention a lot of details here, and you can see already that the information here is more clear than on Alibaba, and the supplier seems really professional from the appearance here. Now, I'm not going to message the supplier now directly, but just show you the contact window and see what else is good in here. Now you can input all the details here. You can check back on my blog. You can check on my blog. I have a lot of helpful templates, especially also the one on Alibaba, where I give a couple of examples of templates and how to communicate with the supplier. When you look at this entry, you will see here, here it is. So you could just copy this message and modify it according to what you need. So I'm going to go back and I could just copy and paste my template here. I can attach any picture or file that I want to send him. I mentioned the subject. You also see a checkbox here that could send this inquiry to all 14 verified suppliers. I don't particularly recommend this option as it can quickly fill your inbox from irrelevant suppliers. I recommend you go through each supplier one by one. What else is cool here? This checkbox here updates you on any new products that may come out from any supplier. So you'll get an email to your inbox with an update every time. Now, as with Alibaba, I recommend to check at least 10 suppliers in the main search function and then narrow down to 5 suppliers and contactees. And then it's time to wait for your offers. I've said it many times, every time I post a request here on GlobalSources, the response of the suppliers is usually more professional than any other sites. Oftentimes when I contact suppliers through Alibaba, for example, they completely ignore all my questions and only send a short reply with the price and nothing else. Now, I assure you, expect a much better service here on GlobalSources. Now, let's go back to the main page and see what else we do have here. Well, there's a marketplace for different product categories on here that lists a lot of trending items. So if you have an afternoon off or not sure what your next product could be, this is the place to look and browse. So let's just take a look, for example, at Consumer Electronics Marketplace. Within the marketplace, you also have the analyst choice, which means they told me they have a team of market analysts in China that dig up new and innovative products from China suppliers. So they do all the legwork for you, and all you have to do is just browse through the most popular products here. When you look through these items, I'm pretty sure a lot of those products can be great for private labeling. So yeah, just have a look through this. Also, you have here the top trending items, so you could browse through this here, and or the most popular items of this category. Now again, you can look through each category, or if you have a specific product, just as you always use the search function and enter your product keywords here, search term. Now there's a lot of more information on here. For example, if I look down, this is a personalized gallery depending on the products that I've been looking for in the past, and that is tailor-made for me actually. Here you have the top 20 most popular products that you can look through. You can also look through all of the products, and then you have new products in that category from exhibitors that exhibited at the GlobalSources show, and those products have been handpicked by GlobalSources market analysts. And yeah, there's a few pretty trendy items in there that you may not find on Alibaba, for example. Now you can look through all of this here, and yeah, that's about it for the marketplace. Just browse through the categories here and have a look through here, maybe through the different mini sites within the site. One of the coolest things they offer is the e-magazines. Like I said in the beginning, when GlobalSources registered in Hong Kong, they were actually called Asian Sources, and one of the first things they did was publish magazines about suppliers in China. And yeah, they've now converted this into e-magazines. So once you're under the e-magazine directory, you can check for the different kind of magazines. For example, you have auto parts, consumer electronics, fashion accessory, hardware, machinery, and so on. Now I've already clicked at the one on consumer electronics. Just a moment there. These magazines are updated every month with new suppliers, new offers, new trends, and it's all for free. So I really do recommend you to subscribe to the product category that you're interested in, and you can just download the PDF, or once you subscribe, you actually get an email once the PDF is updated. Now when you look at any of the magazines here, for example, I'm going to make this a bit bigger. What you will essentially see here, they explain a little bit how to read this. Okay, no need. And then you have page by page you have the newest trends of factories. So you have the entire contact information here, you have product description, and the latest trends on the products really. So I really do recommend you to check that out. So subscribe and you'll get an email whenever they have any update. So what else do we have on GlobalSources? Another thing they have here are the sourcing reports that have in-depth knowledge from their analysts on market outside of China actually. So if you're not sure where you could best buy your tapestry or your copper mug, have a look here and see where suppliers of these products are mainly located. So I know it, but maybe you don't know that a lot of home decor or garments and textiles are actually located in India. So you could just have a look at the report and it directs you there. Yeah, just have a look through the country sourcing. They explain, they highlight a couple of basic data, and they mention a few suppliers here. And you can actually look, especially here, where you can find which supplier for which product. For example, if I want to look for furniture, I'm going to click on here, and you can download the PDF where you have the offers of the suppliers, and here you also have a couple of offers from other suppliers. You can contact them through here. Okay, that's a lot of info already, but I do wanted to mention two more things before I leave you here. They're trade shows. Actually, this is one of the biggest advantages of GlobalSources compared to Alibaba. Now you can just click on here and see what kind of exhibitions are going on. GlobalSources itself, they exhibit at the Asia World Expo next to the Hong Kong airport. So it's a really large exhibition hall, and they have a couple of shows during the year. And for example, right now, this one's coming up, the electronic sourcing show. I actually exhibited at the one in April. You can also check that under my blog here. When you look at one of the last pages of the blog. Yeah, so here you see I exhibited light at the GlobalSources Expo. You can read through that in a little bit. And where were we? Yeah, here we go. So the Asia World Expo is right next to the airport, and I've been to the shows every year since I moved to Hong Kong, and can honestly say that the organization, selection of products and supplier is equally interesting and good as the biggest rival at the Hong Kong Trade and Development Council in Wan Chai. And let me tell you right away, at the GlobalSources show, you will find trends and reputable suppliers. When you only go to the Canton Fair, you won't find many trends, rather a lot of suppliers that trade everything. So if you have the time and come to Hong Kong, I definitely recommend you to check out any of the upcoming shows if you can make it to Hong Kong. They also exhibit in other countries, for example South Africa, where they have gifts and premium, but I'm pretty sure that those are mostly local suppliers. So if you're interested in sourcing from Africa or South Africa, check it out. You can also see, well, it's mentioned here anyway. You can also look at other trade shows. Right now they only have the one going on in Hong Kong and Johannesburg in South Africa. Feel free to check it out later. Okay, the last thing I wanted to mention here is their buyer support. Now when you go under the buyer support, it's a page that helps you source for suppliers and products for free actually. They provide a panel of experts, and here you go, you can ask the experts. You can input your email address and you can type your question, and you see questions answered by Mike Bellamy. He's the founder of Passage Makers, a group of company and a large sourcing company within China. You can also look at previous questions asked here. You can try that, for example. Then what else do they have? They have tutorials, video guides, interviews with buyers, and a lot more. And then you have the Smart China Sourcing. It's a blog style page within GlobalSources. There's a lot of good info and blog posts in there from the experts within China. It's actually a collection of many blogs, from a couple of people that work as sourcing agents in China. For example, Frederick Grönqvist here. He's the guy over at, don't let me make a mistake. He's from China Importel. Yeah, that was the one. So a pretty experienced guy also. He's sitting in Shanghai. And here we go. We have PayPal. That is actually written by me. I've been recently invited to post here, so you will find info from me here as well. So yeah, there's a lot more info in here. Really recommend you to check it out. A lot of information and a lot of different services that they offer, and it's all for free. And you will see soon that there's a lot of suppliers in here that you won't find on Alibaba or vice versa. So be sure to check through the different platforms when you're looking for your product, and don't just stick with Alibaba. Go to the other sites as well. There's a lot of good and free information available here. Alright guys, this is it for this time. Hope you enjoyed, and looking forward to your comments or feedback. See you guys soon.